All right, buckle up everyone, because today's deep dive is going to be a wild ride through history.
October 14th, it's not just another date on the calendar. This is a day where barriers were broken.
And we're not talking about like your average everyday barriers, oh no.
We're talking kings, we're talking sound barriers, we're talking presidential assassinations.
And the wildest part, all of this went down on the exact same date, centuries apart. Ready to get our history fix?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's kick things off with a scene straight out of Hollywood, the Battle of Hastings, 1066.
Yes. The classic image King Harold, last Anglo-Saxon king of England, meets his end with an arrow through the eye.
Talk about a dramatic exit. But is it even true? I mean, we've all seen that image 1,000 times.
Right, forever immortalized in the Bayeux Tapestry, but whether it's entirely accurate is up for debate.
Wait, so that iconic image might be more fiction than fact? All right, you've got to give me some context here.
Of course.
Yeah.
To understand why that arrow is even debated, we have to dive into the world of medieval succession crises.
Oh boy, those never end well. Hit me with it. What made this particular power struggle so explosive?
Imagine a world where power is inherited, not elected. When a king dies without a clear heir, well, chaos tends to follow.
And that's where we enter the scene in 1066, right? King Edward the Confessor kicks the bucket and things get messy.
Precisely. Enter Harold Godwinson, who claims the English throne. Sounds straightforward enough, right?
Sure, except I'm sensing a but coming.
But across the English Channel, William, the Duke of Normandy, was fuming.
Okay, so William's not exactly thrilled about this whole Harold being king situation.
Not in the slightest. William believed he'd been promised the throne, and he wasn't about to let some Anglo-Saxon just waltz in and take what he felt was rightfully his.
So what's a power-hungry duke to do? Assemble an army and sail across the channel, naturally. Cue dramatic music.
Cue the clash of civilizations. This wasn't just about some throne, though. The Battle of Hastings was a collision of languages, cultures, entire ways of life.
The very soul of England was at stake. And I'm guessing this clash had some serious long-term consequences, right?
Absolutely. We're talking about the Norman Conquest, which essentially hit the reset button on English society.
New rulers, new laws. I've heard it even influenced the language we speak today.
Exactly. The Norman Conquest was a complete makeover. William the Conqueror was thorough. He even commissioned the Domesday Book, this massive survey of land and resources. Talk about a power move.
Wow, talk about making your mark. Okay, so we've got a battle that redrew the map of England and this whole arrow in the eye mystery surrounding King Harold. So what's the verdict? Did he actually get arrowed, or was that just some Norman propaganda?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The Bayeux Tapestry, which was likely commissioned by William's allies, certainly depicts Harold with that fatal arrow.
And it makes for a pretty compelling story.
It does, but modern historians are a bit skeptical. Was it staged propaganda to legitimize William's claim? Or did Harold meet a more mundane end on the battlefield? We may never know for sure.
Classic history mystery. But hey, that's half the fun, right? We get to grapple with these unanswered questions, these little glimpses into the past.
Absolutely. And it reminds us that history isn't always black and white. There are always multiple perspectives, interpretations.
And sometimes, a single image, true or not, can become the defining narrative. All right, so we've tackled a nation-defining battle and a king's death shrouded in mystery. Ready for our next October 14th adventure. Okay, so from a battlefield in 1066, we're fast-forwarding to 1947.
Hold on tight, because we're about to go supersonic.
Chuck Yeager, the sound barrier. It's one of those moments in history that just sends chills down your spine.
You know, back then, the sound barrier wasn't just some abstract concept. It was like this impenetrable wall in the sky. Pilots had pushed their planes pretty darn fast, but reaching the speed of sound, that was considered downright impossible.
Yeah, I imagine folks back then thought it would be like trying to, I don't know, outrun a bolt of lightning or something.
Yeah. It was more than just a speed limit. It was a scientific and engineering obstacle. As an object approaches the speed of sound, the air molecules in front of it bunch up, creating this massive pressure wave, a shock wave.
Well, I've heard of those, like the sonic booms from jets. So basically, trying to break the sound barrier was like hitting a brick wall made of sound waves.
Essentially. And it wasn't just uncomfortable for the pilot. We're talking about incredible drag, vibrations, the kind of forces that could rip a plane apart. Early attempts were, well, let's just say they didn't end well.
Yeah, not exactly encouraging for future speed demons. So how'd they ever crack this sound barrier nut? Enter Chuck Yeager, right? From what I've heard, this guy was the definition of a daredevil.
Yeager was the real deal. Cool under pressure, a natural pilot, and with this incredible drive to push the limits, and his aircraft. The Bell X-1, nicknamed Glamorous Glennis, which I've always thought was a nice touch.
Glamorous Glennis hurtling towards the sound barrier. It's such a cool image, this sleek plane versus laws of physics.
It was a testament to human ingenuity. Think about it, World War II had just ended, and here they were, strapping a guy into essentially a controlled missile and aiming it at the sky.
Which makes what I'm about to say even more unbelievable. I heard Yeager almost didn't even make the flight. Something about a horseback riding accident.
Yes. Leave it to Chuck Yeager to tempt fate just days before attempting to break the sound barrier. He injured himself, broke a few ribs, I believe, but he wasn't about to let a little thing like that stop him.
Wait, seriously? Broken ribs? This guy was hardcore. He actually snuck out to see a veterinarian because he knew the flight surgeon would ground him.
Now that's dedication. Or maybe a touch of insanity, who knows? But it worked. On October 14th, 1947, Chuck Yeager, banged up and not broken, climbed into Glamorous Glennis and made history.
What a moment. But it wasn't just about breaking a speed record, was it? This is about breaking down barriers in scientific understanding, in engineering, in what we thought humans were capable of.
Precisely. Yeager's flight ushered in the era of supersonic flight, paving the way for military jets, then eventually commercial supersonic travel. Imagine Concorde soaring across the Atlantic in under 3.5 hours. That was unthinkable before Yeager broke that barrier.
Wow, talk about a ripple effect. One daring act opened up a whole new realm of possibility. But we've got one more barrier-breaking event to cover, and this time it's not about planes or sound waves, but about a different kind of resilience. The humankind.
Ah, yes. Our brush with a presidential assassination. 1912, Theodore Roosevelt, and a testament to his bull moose spirit.
For supersonic flight to a president who just wouldn't quit, October 14th is full of surprises. Okay, so picture this. It's 1912, Teddy Roosevelt, not president at the time, but of course he's running again.
The man was practically allergic to staying out of the political arena.
He's campaigning in Milwaukee on his own progressive bull moose platform.
Yeah.
So, are we talking like a rowdy saloon brawl? How does a barrier get broken in this story?
Not a brawl, but a close call nonetheless. Picture a packed campaign event, everyone's fired up, and out of nowhere, a saloon keeper named John Schrank walks right up to Roosevelt.
Okay, already I'm picturing something out of an old-timey newsreel.
And shoots him at point-blank range, right in the chest.
Wait, hold on. He got HAT. I mean, these days someone sneezes on a politician and it's front-page news. Teddy gets shot and just keeps going.
Now, to be fair, the bullet was slowed down a bit by Roosevelt's eyeglass case and a hefty stack of speech papers in his pocket.
Talk about lucky breaks. But still, a bullet wound is a bullet wound, right?
Nah.
What does Teddy do?
Well, he calmly waves off medical attention, steps up to the podium, and proceeds to deliver his entire speech with a bullet lodged in his chest.
He's got to be kidding me. You can't make this stuff up.
Oh, and I almost forgot the best part. He actually opened the speech by acknowledging he'd been shot, saying, and I quote, "It takes more than that to kill a bull moose."
Classic Teddy. Okay, I am thoroughly convinced this man was carved out of granite. But beyond the pure badassery of it all, what does this event tell us about Roosevelt's place in history?
It cemented his image as this larger-than-life figure, the epitome of resilience and determination. This wasn't just some politician, he was a Rough Rider, a force of nature.
Yeah, it's like this event transcended politics and became about something more, about capturing this American spirit of toughness.
Exactly. Roosevelt's response to being shot resonated so deeply because it embodied this ideal of strength and perseverance that people admired, even if they disagreed with his politics.
So we've got a king's death that reshaped a nation, a pilot who shattered the sound barrier, and a president who just shrugged off a bullet. What a day October 14th has been.
It makes you realize that history isn't just dates and battles. It's about these incredible stories of human courage, ambition, and the will to break through barriers.
It's like if all this could happen on one date, just imagine what other seemingly impossible feats are unfolding right now as we speak.
It's a humbling thought, isn't it? Makes you wonder what stories historians will tell centuries from now about our time, about the barriers we're breaking today that we don't even realize.
Mind-blowing. Well, on that note, we'll leave you to ponder that. What seemingly insurmountable challenges are we facing today that future generations will see as just another turning point? Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep into the mysteries of history.